We have these moments of highs. We have moments of lows, some bigger highs, some lower lows, but it's highs and lows, and the time in between is that waiting. Well, the reason I bring this up is that's what's going on with God's people at the time with the prophet Habakkuk. God's people have a series of squiggles like this. Ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs with God. They're up and they're down with God. Essentially, throughout all the Old Testament, God's people are in those highs and lows, being obedient to Him, but then starting to slip and stray and go to lows without Him. And this is one of the common themes almost amongst all of the minor prophets, that God's people are consistently going through good and bad, in great shape and rough shape, in need of rescuing, and they're fine. So over and over again, God rescues them, brings them up, they get to a high point, and then all of a sudden, they start to do their own thing, and they stray away. Then God rescues them, and over again. And this repeats constantly. And this is what is going on in Habakkuk's time. But they are in a moment where they are specifically straying away from God, and Habakkuk, he cries out to God. He says this,
"How long, O Lord, must I call for help? But you do not listen. Violence is everywhere, I cry, but you do not come to save me. Must I forever see these evil deeds? Why must I watch all this misery? Wherever I look, I see destruction and violence. I am surrounded by people who love to argue and fight. The law has become paralyzed, and there is no justice in the courts. The wicked far outnumber the righteous, and the justice has become perverted."
And in this situation of destruction, it perplexes Habakkuk. That's your perplexed face? It looks more like constipated, but okay, work on that. But he knew Israel, this thriving nation for God, full of God's blessings. He knew that at one point it was like that. But now in Habakkuk's time, it's not. Now it's corrupt. There's injustice. There's violence. And he's waiting for God to make it right. So God responds and he says,
"Look around at the nations. Look and be amazed."
Okay. I like the sound of that.
"For I am doing something in your own day, something you wouldn't believe, even if someone told you about it."
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We got like lightsabers, guns, ninjas. Well, you're God. Maybe it's like magic.
"I am raising up the Babylonians, a cruel and violent people. They will march across the world and conquer other lands."
Wait, what? We are hurting. You're going to use the Babylonians, the nastiest of nasty, my people's enemies? That's the worst idea. You even said it. These are cruel, violent people. That's not fair. No, that's not right. How dare you? Will you let them get away with this forever? They'll succeed forever in their heartless conquest? I will wait. I will wait for your response. I will go. I will climb to my watchtower. I will stand my guard post. There I will wait to see what the Lord says and how he will answer my complaint.
Which we will see God does respond to Habakkuk. But before we see what he says, if you somehow missed what's kind of going on here so far, Habakkuk is dealing with evil, hurt, injustice, pain, and he's speaking on behalf of God's people. And in response, God says he is going to use an evil nation to make things right again. God says he is going to use the Babylonians to correct God's people. Now, it's important to take note here. God will use the evil done by people and nations, but he's not endorsing them. He's not endorsing the Babylonians. He's not endorsing their ways. He's not for evil, but he will use evil that is created from sin in the world for good, to get people back on track or close to him and his ways.